Let's go, girls. Welcome to Talk Wealthy to Me. I'm Michelle Taylor, founder of Women in Wealth. From breaking money myths to building wealth and achieving financial freedom, we're here to empower you to create your own path. Talk Wealthy. Now, join the conversation and let's change the way women think and feel about money. Okay, ready? Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Talk Wealthy to Me. I am Michelle, your host, and I am so excited today. I know I say that every time, but I have a friend here and just an incredibly inspirational woman that I get to see around town and watch the journey and what she's building. And I think you guys are in for such a treat. Erin, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. And I'm so glad that we can talk together.
Yeah, so you are an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. You have a large team. You have locations. You are in the health and beauty space. You own salons in Central Florida. And also, you guys, she is a walking ray of sunshine, I just have to say. You are always just such a positive force in any room that you're in. And I think that is such a beautiful thing. So if no one's told you that lately, you make it easy to be around you all the time.
Thank you. That actually means a lot. It's always nice to hear those things.
Yeah, we don't tell each other all those things as often as we should.
Exactly.
So we are ready for all of the wisdom that you are ready to give us. Tell us about you and your story and start wherever you want, but tell us who you are and give us the highlights.
Great. I'd love to. I started out, my story in my mind always starts when I got pregnant with my oldest son.
Okay.
I was 21 years old in college, living in a state with no family around.
Wow.
So you can imagine that that's not necessarily setting yourself up for success. So I made a decision to leave school, become a mother, take care of him. And I knew that the moment I found out that I was pregnant with him, my life was never going to be the same. That I had a mission separate from myself. And while I was pregnant, I was on welfare, I was on food stamps, and I had 2 jobs. The cards were stacked against me. I had credit cards open in my name that were not mine.
Oh my gosh.
I know, from a family member, and I couldn't even get a bank account. So when I think of the women that I try to inspire and try to talk to and tell them that if I can do it, you can, as well as I do. We have so many stories and friends that have gone through things that if I know I can do it, so can you. But my son inspired me to make sure that that circumstance was never going to be our life. That was a moment, that was our beginning, and that was never going to be our ending.
It's so true because and everybody hears that, the hard times are what really are going to shape and encourage you to go after the life that you want and what humble beginnings and what they can turn into. But when you're in the moment, it certainly doesn't feel like the beginning of this great story. Yeah. It feels like really heavy. And now you've got this idea of, okay, I have another person that not only am I the architect of my own life, but in the beginning, you're the architect of your child's life and their launch pad. So to be 21 years old and have no family around you, and that kind of challenge in front of you and to see what you've done with it is so, so inspirational. And so you had your son, and then what happened?
I had my son, and I, a few years later, decided that I wanted to go to cosmetology school.
Okay.
It was something that everyone told me not to do, but it was something that I just honestly knew I needed to. And I'm not sure why, but I listened to my intuition. And within a year of becoming a hairstylist, I'd surpassed the nation's national average of what a hairstylist can make. In 3 years, I became a national educator. I would travel around and teach around salons twice a month. I did local TV stations and morning news segments. And the fire to succeed never stopped. I was hungry. I said yes. I saw everything as an opportunity. And then right when I started as a hairstylist, that's when I started saving. So, I've shared this with you. I started saving when I had very little. I would save $5 a day, 5 days a week.
Which is awesome.
Yep, I would save. And it would be in small dollar amounts. And then one time, a little bit later, then I was able to move it to $10 and so on. And through the saving, through the saying yes to all of the opportunities, I built my name quickly. I built my reputation. And my reputation was built on how I served others, how I said yes, I was dependable. And my son got to have a mom he was proud of, which meant the world to me. And I have another son as well. He is 10 years old. And now 16 years later of doing hair, my son is now 20 years old. He's a Marine, which I am beyond proud of.
Yes.
And I have 2 salons, 54 people that work for me, and have a multi-million-dollar business. And there's so many little things that I don't think there was one big thing, but it was the little things of saying yes, of learning how to manage my money, of never seeing an obstacle as a failure, but always seeing it as another opportunity to grow. And then always wanting to be an inspiration for my kids. That really was my guiding motivation for everything I've done.
Oh my gosh, there's so many things there that I want to talk about. So number one, what you said about money, I mean, we talk about this all the time. The time to start was yesterday. I don't care if you're doing $5 a day, $1 a day, just something, because what it does is it teaches you and instills in you the discipline. It builds the muscle. The numbers can change, but the discipline is there.
Yes.
And for you to have started that in such a time of uncertainty, now what could possibly come your way that would throw you off track? It's doable. It's second nature. So that is incredible. And what made you decide to do that? Did you have examples of people that were good stewards of money, or was that just something that you learned by listening to someone or seeing a mentor, or did you just figure it out on your own?
I learned what I didn't want. I didn't have anyone that taught me what savings was like. I had to save because I had debt that wasn't mine that I had to pay off. So I had to learn how to save money to pay off these things and have money for, when you have that little of money, if you have to get new tires on your car, it's devastating.
Over. Yeah.
Right. So I had to save money to pay off debt. And then I had to save money because things happen that you cannot control. So I don't like not feeling like I'm in control. I know most people don't.
No.
So the only way that I could figure out how to be able to control my circumstances in the future was to know that I started somewhere. I at least started saving something. Because that is something I was never taught. So it was something I knew I had to do.
And you said something that was so much a part of your story, and that's impact. And I think that is what anybody that's watching what you're building, anybody that follows you on social media already knows. That is such a piece of your soul and your mission. And I think that when you come at anything life throws your way with that kind of lens over the camera, you're going to succeed. I always say that my goal is to leave everybody and everyone and everything better than I find them. Yes. And if you're leading with impact, it is impossible that you're not going to do that. So I think that has helped you get where you are today.
Yeah, I think so. I know that someone told me a long time ago, she said, you're going to be a great salon owner because you really care to lead. You care about people. And although that has never changed, I've always had to go back and remind myself, what is my mission? What is my impact going to be? Because it's a choice. The impact you want to make is a choice that we have to think about every day. The impact we want to make on the people that work for us, the people that we come across in our businesses every day, and then the impact we want to make on our family when we get home,
It's a huge part of it.
Constantly something that I have to think about. What is it that I want to be having them think of, like, how do they want to feel when we're done having our meetings? Something that I'm really proud of is that in my one-on-ones with the people that work for me, it's almost always like an exhale, like, thank God, like this was a good meeting.
Oh, I
Even
love
if there are things we need to work on, always a positive, because I see people so much through the lens of we're all of us trying to learn, figure things out. None of us have all of the answers,
No.
even though we're all maybe at different places in our careers and the money that we have and homes we have. It doesn't matter. We're all still trying to, figure out our own journey and what works for us. So my impact is always, how can I help someone in wherever they are on that journey? How can I serve them best wherever they are? Because sometimes the goals that they have are not the goals I want for them.
Oh, isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
And that's, people always say people don't quit jobs, they quit leaders or bosses. And I think that that's how you've been able to build such an amazing team, is because they feel that you're invested in them where they're at and are going to support and encourage them to hit whatever goals they have. Who would ever walk away from that?
Yeah. I mean, and people do.
Yeah, sure.
And that's okay. But something that I always look back on is like, did I do my best? And people are going to leave, but I don't think they ever leave thinking I didn't care or try my best, because
Yeah.
I always care. So even though in the beauty industry, I have, 50 something people that work for me, that's a lot of people to try to figure out what are their motivations.
Oh, yeah.
What do they need? And sometimes you don't figure it out, but as long as you're trying and you're really giving your best, I think as long as you're trying to lead with kindness and respect and grace, then your businesses are going to succeed. It might not be in how you thought they would originally or with exactly who you think they will succeed with, but they will succeed.
Well, isn't that the story of entrepreneurship? It's always pivoting, right? It might not look the way we think it will, but we're going to make it look the way it's supposed to look.
Right.
So what do you envision? What's next for your salons and what you're building?
So I have 2 locations now. My long-term goal is to have 5.
Okay.
But I'm also in the process of making Theory Salons a place that people that work there can eventually own a part of, or some version of their own Theory Salons.
Oh, I love that.
So it's enabling the people that I say I want to support to be able to support them in the full journey in whatever way that they want that to be. So I see Theory as so much bigger than me, because we're creating safety for the people that work there. We're creating inclusiveness. We're creating the ability to make a great career out of being a hairstylist. And ultimately, I've always seen myself as a businesswoman, even when I first started out as being a hairstylist. It was a career, and I will never, ever stop thinking that way.
Yeah.
So I want to help other women and other people be able to build the careers of their dreams and continue the impact in a bigger way that I am doing now.
So you just touched on something that I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
You go into this world and you had so much success just as a stylist. What made you think, okay, now I want to build it and build it for other people and dive into entrepreneurship?
All of my focus has always been an impact. So even when I was on just a hairstylist, the conversations I would have with the people in my chair, the relationships that we would build, so many times it was like, thank you, I really needed this. Thank you, you gave me such great advice, or whatever it was. And that was the piece that I loved the most. I never thought I would stop doing hair, but I wanted to be able to do that on a larger scale. And I wanted the national average that women make as a hairstylist is $27,000 a year.
Wow.
And I will tell you, I made multiple 6 figures just as a hairstylist. And you can create an incredible career. People just don't believe that. They don't believe it. They don't have people saying, yes, you can. They are limited already before they even start. So I wanted to show them, create a plan for them, create an environment that they could do that in so that they could have that career, which creates safety in their own families. And then they can impact the people that are coming in their chair.
And there it is. It all comes back to impact.
Yeah.
And it's so true. There's so much, and I talk about it. I'm sure you talk about it, but your mindset around your abilities, your money stories impact so heavily what you allow yourself to go out and chase. And so giving yourself the permission to chase after something is so important. It's also so much easier when you have somebody in your corner. And I think that that's what you're building is if these stylists come in and they don't have anybody telling them, yes, you can, you don't need to be at the, national average, even if it's just coming from the person that owns the salon. I mean, that may be all the impact they need to go out and change their life and the people that they care about lives.
Right. Because there's no limit unless we believe there is. And we have to do the work. There is luck, there is mindset, and then there's also the work. If you have all of it together and then you have people that believe in you, I really think having someone that really sees that in you is sometimes all it takes. I remember that my teacher in hair school, I was talking to her and I had this mentor that I really wanted to be like. And I was like, I just really would like to be like her one day. And she goes, oh, no, honey, you're going to be so much better.
Oh, I love that.
And that was the first time someone said they saw something like that in me. And she was right.
So, okay. And that's what I mean. It's having the people around you that are your village that help you in whatever way, shape, or form they come to you, consider it a blessing and charge on with the confidence that you can do it. So growing up, what was your relationship like with money?
That's tough. So I was led to believe that wealthy people were evil. That makes sense. It was very in religion. Money was scary. Money, we didn't ever, when we had a lot, we knew it wasn't going to stay.
Scarcity.
Yep, scarcity and fear. There was never a stable relationship or neutral relationship or normal with money. It was very much like, I don't have it, should have it, but I don't.
And the people that do have it are not good people.
Exactly.
Apparently.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how often I hear that. And it is amazing to me because you will talk to young women that have never had to manage money on their own, but they already have this preconceived notion of what it is.
Yeah.
And that in and of itself is enough to get your financial future completely off course. And it's like, when are we having those conversations?
Yeah.
When are we educating? And there's always people looking, going back to impact, so that even if it's conversations with your kids, your nieces, your friends, whomever, to say, this money is a tool. It does not have a personality. It is not evil. And I'm sure you've heard the saying, money doesn't change you. It just magnifies who you already are.
Yes.
So money in the hands of good people typically does great things. And that is the goal. But we have to first give permission to all of these other women to say, okay, money is mine to go after. It is not something that's going to be scarce in my life. And it is a tool to allow me to do the things that I want to do. That is half the battle. And to look at what you've done, feeling those kind of, or having those kind of thoughts in the very beginning makes your story even more powerful, because you can change your story anytime you want to. You just have to give yourself permission to rewrite it.
That's right. Yeah.
So what did you do to prepare to open these salons? You were very successful. You knew you wanted to provide an impact, but then pen to paper, what came next? What was your course of action?
So 10 years before, 3 years into doing hair, I knew that I wanted to learn from salon owners because I knew one day I wanted to own a salon. So I would write down the things that they did well and the things to me as a stylist, from my point of view, what I thought they did well. And then I would ask them for advice and I would write these things down. So for a long time, I looked for the people who could give me advice that were already in the shoes that I wanted to be in.
Write that down, ladies.
Yeah.
That's important. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
They say only take advice from the people that you would change lives with, right?
Yeah.
You don't take advice from the people doing the same thing as you.
Well, it's like people that go to their friends for marital advice and
Oh
their
my
friends
God.
aren't married.
Yeah.
And it's like, how can you possibly know?
Yeah.
Or like parenting advice. You have to get advice, seek advice from people that you believe have been there and done it well
Exactly.
before you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you kept this notebook.
Yep. I did that.
Okay.
And then I knew the next thing would be two things at the same time. I needed to start saving specifically for that. So I knew, I researched how much starting an average salon space would be, and I started saving extra for that. And then I decided I wanted to write my business plan all on my own because I knew that if I could do that, and it took me 2 years, if I could write the business plan on my own, I would learn so much in the process that I couldn't if I had someone write it for me, or if I consulted with someone and they did most of the work. So I didn't consult with anyone until after I wrote it because I wanted to learn things I'd never been taught before.
I can't tell you how many people that I speak to that say the same thing. And really, entrepreneurship and being a business owner, there really is no shortcut. And the best way to learn is to do.
Yep.
And, especially now in the world that we live in, access to resources and information are abundant. So it's not going to ever be a lack of resources available. It's finding what is suitable for you, taking it, building it, and then going to find that person to say, hey, this is what I've built. Does this make sense? Being able to justify it. So many women will say, well, I don't even need to know how that works because somebody else does it. And it's like,
Oh, yeah.
you don't have to love doing it, but you need to know how it works to protect yourself.
Right.
So writing your own business plan and then going to lean on other people is absolutely the right order of operations. Because what an education you gave yourself.
And why limit ourselves? Sure,
Yeah.
other people can do it better than us. But if we don't even understand the process, then how do we know if they are doing it the right way? Like, there has to be a checks and balances that starts with us as the leader.
Yeah.
How do I lead my team if I don't even know what the business is?
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. How does your son, if I were talking to him and he's sitting in this chair, how would his money story differ from yours?
If he would have asked me that a few years ago, I would have a different answer. But
Okay.
he has now been in the Marines for 2 years.
Yeah.
And something I am so proud of is that the car that he has needed some kind of work done. I don't remember what it was. But do you know that he paid $1,800, all of that work that needed to be done, just for money that he'd saved in the last few months from being a Marine? He chose to save because we talk about this all of the time. He chose to have a savings account that gives him, a little bit of interest because that's a great way to start. He has a credit card that's, you put the money in and you can only spend what's in there so he can build his credit. He was so proud of himself. And I was so proud of himself. I didn't take over that payment because what an incredible accomplishment to think he saved. I told him there would be something that would happen. He was ready for the emergency. And he develops trust with himself and with money.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And you showed him how to do that.
Yeah.
And we say that all the time. You never know the eyes that are watching you.
Right.
When you're doing the little things. I remember watching my mom balance a checkbook on Sunday morning and thinking, oh my gosh, that looks awful. But it showed me understanding, that saying, pay attention to the pennies and the dollars take care of themselves. It's those little things. So have the conversations, live a life that the people that look to you for guidance will want to emulate and watch them flourish. I think that is incredible that you get to see him living out a healthier relationship with money than you started out with.
Yes. And that makes me, I mean, even more so than me relearning things with money, seeing him do that when, how we started out, that's just like, I couldn't have asked for anything more. And to be proud of him, seeing that he doesn't have that mindset that I started with, and knowing that I was able to impact him even when I didn't think I was.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Impact.
Yeah.
Impact. And I really think that it's so incredible. I've had the, pleasure of speaking to you and your husband and just the way that you both you both approach finances to me is so balanced and amazing. So I think that you've done a really incredible job. So with all of the good that has happened, what do you think is your favorite part of what you've built around money? So I know obviously impact, you get to enjoy that every single day, and that's part of your legacy. But is there something, knowing how life started for you and how you struggled to build this, is there any kind of small indulgence that you have all the time and you think, man, this made it so much more fun?
I absolutely do. I have two things. And I will say with those, I have to still remind myself that this is okay to love.
Yes.
It is okay to love. And it's okay to want things for yourself and to buy things that are wants and needs. And I say thank you every time. I say thank you that I'm able to do this, really, because it is all a blessing. And every time I say thank you, I take that fear away.
Yeah.
So I'll say that having money in your savings account and multiple savings account lets you not live in survival mode. You get to make decisions out of alignment, out of faith, out of your future planning instead of fear. And the two things that I truly love are staying in really nice hotels and flying first class. And those are my splurges. Those are things I truly love. Those are my things.
Well, and what's so great about that is oftentimes you get to take other people along with you on that.
Yes.
And it makes it even more special. Those happen to be two of my favorite ways. Oh, yes. I mean, there's just something fun about walking into a hotel that smells good. Do you know what I mean by that? All of the really beautiful hotels always have a signature scent or something, and it just makes you feel good. And it's something so silly. And maybe for somebody listening, it's, oh, I've always wanted this watch, or I've wanted this home in the mountains, or whatever it is, right? We're the architects of our own story. But staying in a really nice hotel and flying first class are incredibly decadent and definitely make the traveling a little bit more fun. So I love that you do that.
And then your vacation starts from the time you get on the plane.
It so does, especially if you have people coming with you.
Yes.
That imagine for a moment, for all the spouses and kids and friends out there that are not the planners, that you just show up and you say, I don't know what the hotel is that we're staying at or what we're doing because someone else planned it. I'm just along for the ride. And then you get to sit in a nice cushy seat and go to a nice hotel. It's amazing.
Exactly.
Makes those hard days and things all worthwhile. And, giving yourself permission to spoil yourself, the people that you care about, and also just spend the money that you've worked so hard for in a way that feels really good to you is the biggest flex, I think, out there. It doesn't have to be the way that someone else wants to spend it, but the way that you truly feel like you're loving on yourself, that's the secret sauce.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it is very difficult when you have a story that you don't have anything and you start out with nothing to get past that and think that you deserve to have nice things. So it is a constant healing process.
Oh, yes.
And I'm sure there are women listening who still don't think that, they're like, oh, I shouldn't buy that. maybe you shouldn't, but also maybe you should.
Right.
Maybe you should.
Maybe you should.
How do you feel?
Yeah. And I think that you're so right. You never truly separate from your story from the very beginning and all of the things that you put in your backpack of like your relationship with money over time. I know for my own situation, I know we've talked about this. I've talked about it on the podcast, but I was a terribly indulgent shopper at a time in my life when I had no job. And, I loved fashion. I still do. And to this day, my situation couldn't be more different. But there are so many times that I'll see something and I want it and I will talk myself out of it and think, but do I need it? This is so irresponsible. And it's like, no, it's okay to want something and you shouldn't feel guilty for wanting something. It doesn't have to be, something that's going to be on the equivalent of world peace or yes, the money you're spending, it could go to these things. Yes, but sometimes it's just for that person inside of you that it's going to make you happy and feel loved on. Those are important too.
If you are paying all of your bills, you have businesses, you have a savings, you have a plan, then buying yourself something nice is only saying, I believe that this will continue. The money will keep coming in. It is neutral. It's nothing to be afraid of. And I deserve to love things in my life.
Right. Yeah. Whatever it is.
Yeah. Whatever it is.
So as we wrap this up, what is your one quick piece of advice for anybody that's listening that may have that money mindset of money is evil or it's scarce, or that they think I'm a salon or I'm a stylist and maybe I want to go out on my own? What is that one little thing that you would tell them as the successful bestie?
I think that you have to see everything in your toolbox as a tool. Money is one of them. Money is a very important tool. You can't really use the other ones if you don't have it. And fortunately, we are in charge of our own money story. We're in charge of our own healing, not in charge of what happened to us, but we are right now. And everybody deserves to change that money story and to decide, how do I want to use money that I thought was evil? I can now use it for myself, for my family, for others. I can build things with it. I can create a career and safety. If you can create safety for yourself or for the others, you're healing so much from the past.
So much.
It really is all a decision to just start healing from whatever was holding us back from thinking we deserve more.
I love that. Well, impact is basically what I think anybody that knows you thinks of you as first, as being so impactful and being a successful now business owner and just amazing person. Anyone listening that doesn't know you prior will now also think of you in the same way. Where can people follow along and learn from you and see all of the exciting things you're doing?
The best place is my Instagram is at Erin.Mills.
Okay.
I also, my salons is www.theorysalons.com. But I love connecting, building relationships in every way possible. And Instagram is a great place to do that. I would love that.
It really is. And I'll tell you what, you will always post the most amazing things, but there are those times when you see it's like that forward-facing video and I know you're about to drop some amazing nuggets and I always see it and I think, oh, here we go. This is so good. So follow along. Always just brightening the people that do follow you's day. And I think leaving them and anything you find better than it was. And that is incredible. Thank you so much for coming on. I, of course, count you as a friend, but so look up and respect everything that you're doing. And I know that you provided a ton of value to the listeners, and I appreciate that so much.
Absolutely. This was really great talking to you. I'm so glad we got to.
Yay, me too. Well, as always, guys, like, subscribe, share, do all of the good work to make sure that we are changing the way women think and feel about money together. Until next time.